So we've had a few questions, people asking how to find routes to make content. It's one of those things that you have to be quite motivated to do yourself, but it's very useful, and if you do it, there are ways that you can pass that on to content creators. Mainly it's through the Discord route find channel, which anyone can access, and I would advise you just to, as it says in the pins in the channel, keep the information very limited. Just say I have a route, you know, a few jumps from home, however many jumps maybe, and then you can put it goes to, and then put the region, or even you could just put Goon space, and content creators will direct message you on Discord and find out where it goes specifically at that point. Just because if you put the full information, then you'll usually end up with your route getting rolled by hostiles, because they don't want us to bring content fleets through them if that means they're going to explode. So they'll avoid that as best they can. Just at this last system, and then I'll see about heading home, because we do actually have some stuff nearby, which is great. So obviously I am in slice space here, which you should not be exploring, but if you're just doing what I'm doing, which is a drifter check, it's fine. Only 5 jumps home, lovely. Anti-Lex is a great thing. Oh, there's a few people on their Twitch stream now, that's good. There's a few people watching there. So I've written down a few ways. I'm going to try and focus on the quickest ways first and the longer methods later. So the absolute quickest way to find a route is to go into the Eve Scout hopes connection section. Let me just change my stream so it will show you. There you go. So if we type in E8 TAC here, which is 432, refresh, we can see that there's a hole in Wicked Creek. It says 24 jumps, actually a lot closer than that in reality, which is great because of Antiplexus again. There's also one in Cobalt Edge, but that's end of life, so it's probably not very useful. And then there's one in Veil of Silence, so we could go through this Wicked Creek one, we could end up in Fraternity Space, or we could end up in Fountain, which is Initiative Space, or we could end up in Stain. So there's content opportunities here. Iridia is near Delve. You'll learn the map when you start mapping a lot. You know, if you start using these, if you start route planning a lot, sorry, that's what I want to say, you'll learn the different regions and what's good to go, and that'll change based on the geopolitics of Eve, obviously. So that's by far the fastest way. That does have a connected folder called Eve Scout. Is this the channel? Oh, that's not what we want. We want where is it? This one. Oh. Yeah. There you go. So you want that folder. If you don't have that folder yet, you can join Fleet and grab it, or you can ask anyone really in the game to give it you. Lots and lots of people have that one saved. It's a very useful folder, and you just open it up and have a look. I've got other folders open right now, so I won't be doing that. Not actually going to go all the way back to E8, so I think we are where we want to be here. Yeah, we are. So that's the first way. Mainly on the tab on that website, there's a Thera tab and a Turner tab. That's the system, like the hub systems. Mainly use Thera. Turner holes tend to get rolled. Groups use them for content, and they roll the holes to get them to go to more null-sec places that are better for them. So you might go through there with your fleet expecting it to still be alive, and then it'll be gone, which is very sad. So the next option is to set up drifter scouts. This is a little bit, it's quick to use once you've got it set up, but it does take an awfully long time to set up. The basic concept is you get lots of alpha accounts, and you open up this this map here. Let's show you. So if you go here, and then we want to set up a Black Rise set, we click the number next to Black Rise. If we go back, we click this number here, maps, and it loads a dotland map with a circle around all of the systems that can spawn drifter holes. Basically anywhere with a Jove observatory in the system will spawn drifter holes. They don't always have one in, and what you do is, so this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you would get 14 alpha characters, and they would all, their permanent life would be to sit in a shuttle in these systems. You log it in, you log it out, you log it in, you log it out, you just look and check, and then if there is a wormhole, you can fly over to it in the shuttle, and then see what it is, and just make it, like, warp off, make a note of what it was. So if it was a C or an S or an R or the other one, B I think, and what you then do is, usually people will have a actual fast frigate in the area as well, maybe another alpha account that sits in the middle of the region, and that'll fly over and use a micro warp drive to go and activate it. You can set up your alpha accounts with a micro warp drive on them as well, but people often prefer to just have a specialized ship for that. You then fly to the wormhole, jump through, bookmark the other side, and then you have a route to that area, basically, through that kind of wormhole. Then you'd have to, if that was in the offensive area that you wanted to go into, then you would do that as well in the home area, and look for the same type of wormhole. This takes ages and ages and ages to set up, and once you have got it set up, it does take a little bit of time to do all of the warping around, which is a bit of a pain, but it's quite quick. You know, you can log an alpha account in and out within a minute, and just cycle through, and within about 20-30 minutes you should have the whole region and the home regions covered. If you work in groups, if you make friendship groups with other people who are doing this, then you can really quickly find options, and this is generally how organised nullsec blocks will find routes for hunting and small ship fleets and things like that, is they'll just spam their drifter alts. A lot of people will set this up when you get those omega deals, when they offer like a day of omega, they'll omega all of their alpha accounts, and then they're able to do multi-boxing. You know, they can do like 6 at a time, and they just autopilot them to the various systems, and 6 more and 6 more. It's much quicker because you will have to fly the alpha account over to wherever you want it, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, so that's generally how you would do that. Let me just check my notes. The next option is to scan from inside of a wormhole, which we're going to show you here. We're at a perch on the back of this drifter wormhole. We're going to warp down 100 kilometers, and that should land us very close to the wormhole. These NPCs that live on drifter wormholes are extremely dangerous, especially the battleships, but the cruisers will also shoot you when they may not shoot you normally. So those cruisers, the Lancers, they don't usually engage people, but when they're on the wormholes, they do get more aggressive and they will engage you then. So just be careful on these wormholes. If there's NPCs around, stay cloaked. Yeah. So scanning from inside a wormhole is a much longer process. Let's just save this. 89 tech GP. So the reason is, look at that, there are so many wormholes here. We're going to just set our pinpoint formation. We're going to set it to 1. We're going to put it on this planet, and actually we're set to 4. and that should get us a resolution on a few. And you just do a 4 scan on all the planets, you'll get most of it resolved. And then you can go through and you can do 2 AUs usually if you've got good skills on most of the signatures. Ideally you do this in a pair as well, so you have one guy scanning and another guy in a fast frigate, and the fast frigate will be going to the wormhole and then burning the 100 kilometers to the entrance and finding where that wormhole goes, and you basically very quickly can create a map of basically the entirety of Eve. There'll be connections absolutely everywhere. There's usually somewhere between 20 and 30 nullsec connections in each one, so you get a lot of options. There may be a bit of variety in how healthy the holes are, so if you show info on holes, you'll see a few things. It says this is beginning to decay, won't last another day. That means it's fine. That's the best situation for that. If it says this is end of life, then you don't know how long that's going to last. It could be 1 to 3 hours. It says where it goes, null security space, and it says whether it's been disrupted. So this one has not significantly been disrupted, and large ships can go through it, which tells you how big of a ship you can put through it. Large is the battleships, basically. Takes a lot of time to do this, but you can. So like what I've just done is I've undocked from staging. I've done a little route around the closest drifter systems to staging, and then I have just found one wormhole and I've decided, right, I'm going to go in it and I'm going to do a bit of scanning. It's, from a kind of complication point of view, simple. It's a bit random. If you don't have good connections near you, you know, if you can't find a drifter hole to start with, that will slow you down. And then the hole you're actually in may not have a connection to where you want it to go. Whereas if you do the alts, where you have the alts in the exact areas you want to go, you'll find something. And if you can find an R and then there's no R's near home, maybe there's a B that goes like slightly closer, or Thera that'll go near a B that'll take you to an R. You can do that kind of thing, and you can chain yourself forwards. But typically you will find, if you are in a drifter hole, you will find an exit to content somewhere, just because we have enemies all the way around the Ring of Eve, and it's quite hard not to find somewhere that you could do something, you know. It's a good thing about Eve at the moment. And then finally you would be scanning for wormhole connections just in normal space. That is essentially a bit of a crapshoot. Like, you want to be away from areas where there's lots of activity, because crabbers especially will roll wormholes that go, you know, direct wormholes that go to enemy space, so they'll get rid of them. And also, if it's in a place where standing have bookmarked the wormhole, then that means that the enemies have easy access to it, because standing's bookmark folder is basically not secure, as most intel in Horde is not secure, just because of the nature of Horde. So yeah, so you want to spread yourself onto the edges of our area, scan around there, scan in the quieter parts of enemy areas as well, and also if they have connections to low sec space is really good for very large wormholes, and you can usually find larger holes to bring in slightly larger fleets. So if you want to do a cruiser fleet, you want quite a large fleet, a large sized hole to do that. So let's just warp. We'll scan 2 of these wormholes now. Let's warp over and see where we go. Bit of a live example of the drifter holes. The final way we used to do would just be to filament fleets, but filamenting has become trickier, and it's basically not favoured at the moment as an option. So I wouldn't really recommend that right now for actual content creation. I think if you have the time, and you really should be if you're going to be a content creator, so that's end of life, null security, so we're not going to go through that one. We can just save it there, so no one else does as well. So this is WPW, EOL, no. Yeah, I think really if you're going to be a content creator and you're going to be offensive and you're going to go and roam into places and you want routes to get to the backlines, then I think put 40 minutes to an hour of effort in yourself, and you'll be able to find really good routes and decent content get you all the way around Eve. So this is low security, this is also end of life. So I would recommend for the bookmarks that you set up your own folder and save them, and then if you make friends with people, you can start sharing it with them if they're working as a team, and then just share the fact that you found these things to FCs, and then you can share the bookmarks. FCs will often also, if you just tell them the system a drifter hole's in, they'll be able to do that. It's mainly the exit in the hostile area that we'll need the bookmark for, because otherwise we'll have to get our teams over there, and that's just a bit of effort. So you can do this at any stage in Horde. It's not really any obsec to finding wormholes. Later on, if you become trusted, there are specialized groups who search, like our recon essentially. They'll go searching down routes for big operations. But just for starting, just use the Discord channel route find and say just in very general terms what you found, and people might want to use it. Not a super long one today. I'm going to keep it short and close it off there. Does anyone have any questions in the Steam chat? In the Steam chat? In the Discord chat? Oh my god, in the Twitch chat. It's early morning and I haven't had much sleep. I'm assuming probably not, because there's only like 3 of you there. Probably 2 of you are just people who clicked the channel. Cool. I know Fim's one of them and he knows how to do this. There's no questions from him. Alright, perfect. I'm going to close off the stream then. Just so I've got a nice 18-minute long video, and we will see you around.